All right, welcome everyone to our August edition of the OSM Community Call. It is August 10th, 2021. This call is governed by the CNCF Code of Conduct. Feel free to view the Code of Conduct page on the repo, and you're just respectful to each other, you'll be fine. We got a pretty decent agenda we'll go through. I'll start off with just talking about some of the latest updates that we made in the past month. And then we'll go through the agenda there. So let me kick it off. I did a query if my GitHub query filtering skills work. Looks like we did about 163 PRs got merged in the last month. So a ton of activity that's been happening. I'm just going to highlight a few. We have created multi-cluster demos and E2E testing. A lot of that was merged. We've been working on the upgrade functionality, as well as the contour ingress integration. So hopefully we'll have a demo of that next community call here next month. Also, there's been updates to the doc site. So hopefully everyone is kind of enjoying the new or more streamlined expression of docs on the doc site. It's gotten a lot better since day one. And we've also added, continuing adding Windows support. So we got Windows sidecars being injected on Windows worker nodes. So a lot of that's happening. And then part of the demo later today is we've been working on the OSM health. So that's a way that we're kind of giving insights into the actual running of OSM. And so we got Sonia and Johnson here later on. They're going to be demoing that. So looking forward to it. And that is it for our updates and roadmap. I think we are in milestone V.O.10, I believe. Yep, V.O.10.0. And so we'll be burning that down through August 20th. So with that, let's go ahead and continue on with the agenda. Next item is actually me. I want to talk to the community and talk about the use of GitHub discussions. So I've been kind of looking out at other projects out there and noticed that this is a beta feature of GitHub, and I started noticing a lot of projects utilizing it, and I think there's probably some value in it. I'll talk about what I did here, but I saw some projects that are using it to kind of store community call information, but there's a couple examples I want to show here. I'll throw these in the chat as well. So the first one here is the contour, not contour, but container D, contours next. And I think what I like about this is, we can kind of come up with our own taxonomy of subjects that we want to talk about. And what I'm saying is this kind of you don't put a lot of non-issues in the issues queue, if that makes sense, right? So if you want to have a discussion around like maybe multi-cluster or contour, and you're just kind of generally asking questions, you can actually kind of keep true issues to the project and just have kind of thoughts and other types of discussions as part of the discussion threads here. On top of that, users who are coming into the repo, they can actually just query all the discussions. So, sometimes, people may be repetitive on some of the issues that they're asking. We may have already answered them, and then we just put a mention of, hey, it's this item here. This could be another way of us kind of relieving the issue queue, where someone can, even before they create an issue, they can just come here and do a query on this discussions and see, hey, has anyone discussed this prior? And if so, hey, here's maybe kind of all the steps that they did to resolve something. So, yeah, I just want to kind of introduce that. This is the one for Container D. The other one that I was looking at too, and Shashank, who's a maintainer, I actually saw him. He had a discussion here on the contour page here. So he was talking about support for Gateway API. And again, you can just have these long running discussions. It's not really, he's just being inquisitive. Hey, I'm thinking about this, X, Y, Z, and he's not actually cutting issues that people may be responding to. So I'll pause there and just kind of see what the community feels like. Is this something that we think that we can kind of expand or build some kind of high-level subject taxonomy for OSM and just have discussions and kind of trim down kind of like the issues being overloaded, et cetera.
Won't this just be another, won't be another similar avenue as, I feel like this medium is similar to, using docs, discussions. That's how I feel. We've got issues and the GitHub discussions. It sounds a bit like docs.
Yeah, you're right. And the thing about docs is, there's going to be tons of links, right? And at least if you can offload some of the, the creation of docs and just have them as discussions, then again, everything is just associated with the repo itself. You don't have to worry about, hey, who's sharing this doc out, whose drive is it on, et cetera. So yeah, you're right. I mean, there's some overlap, but I think this is a way that we can probably move from docs, not all docs, obviously. There's going to be design docs, and you're going to have those needs of certain formats and things of that nature. But yeah, it could be something there.
I, of course, always have the tactical questions of support flow. So is this something you envision being part of a rotation of maintainers who would be the one to answer questions in the discussion that week? I'm just kind of curious how you see this scaling. Like, people are answering issues, people are doing ICMs, people are also answering things in discussion, or do we plan on hoping the community answers each other? Yeah, that's kind of, how does this scale and maintain?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's any different from what we currently do today with issues, right? So maintainers responding to issues. Again, like if, in this, scenario, like container D, right? Like if I'm a new user or I'm dealing with something, maybe I can come here and, I don't know, let's see, I'm just going to look and see what they got out here. Maybe I'm talking, hey, how does, standard out work? Again, I get a query and I get filtered on maybe subjects or discussions here that are probably really relevant. Instead of, hey, I don't know how this works, I'm just going to go cut an issue. Someone's going to respond. They're going to put a hash and say, hey, we've already answered that like 2 years ago. I mean, I guess I can also do that here, but yeah, I mean, there's one, let's see, I think probably to me, the most valuable thing about it is just you being able to build your own taxonomy of subjects, right? So again, all of like our major key features, we could probably just kind of create those discussion lists and talk about multi-cluster, talk about ingress there. And again, leave issues as being like real issues to the product, like at the code base, et cetera. So yeah, I mean, again, I'm just kind of introducing this, love to get people's feedback and be curious if anyone else has been working on other projects that are using discussions and their experience on how they've been interacting with discussions on other GitHub projects. Any other
So what do you
comments or
see as
questions?
next steps? Do we want to build out more of the taxonomy, or how would you like to approach it?
Let's maybe test it out. Let's maybe take our high level task or things that we're building and build it in. Yeah, let's kick the tires and see, hey, is this making us more efficient, or is this actually, a more burden to us? And if that's the case, then yeah, we're not married or tied to this, but maybe that's kind of the next step to do.
At least when this was, I mean, I know it's still a beta feature, but when it was first launched, I know that if you ever turn discussions off, they weren't searchable anymore. They were just turned off and hidden. So we should make sure we understand what the implications will be if we put a bunch of stuff in here and then decide not to use it actively. That would be my one caution there.
Yeah, there's a risk, with being beta, you're right.
Mostly if we decide not to use it, we might have to then duplicate that content on the website or something.
Yeah. Okay. All right, and again, feel free to add to the doc. You got any other suggestions about it? With that, we'll move on. Next agenda item, we're going to be kicking it over to you, John. Go ahead and stop the share. And John's going to be talking to us about Awesome.
All right, thanks, Phil. So for those who may not know, a few months ago, Envoy added support for WebAssembly-based filters, so users can compile their own filters to WASM and then configure Envoy dynamically to run them instead of having to compile a brand new Envoy binary with just your custom extensions. So recently, I've been working on making it possible for users to bring their own WebAssembly-based Envoy filters to OSM meshes. And we're tracking that in issue 1671 in the OSM repo on GitHub. So currently we're still investigating and prototyping to determine how we want this all to work. Linked in the comments on the issue is a document with some more details about the options we're considering currently. And feedback on those or other ideas is very much welcome and appreciated. So feel free to reach out to me on that GitHub issue or Slack if you have any other questions or feedback. And if anyone does have questions on that, I can answer those now. Otherwise, that's all I had.
Hey, John, let me miss this. Is this available now?
This is not, we're still kind of investigating and that sort of thing, not on the main branch yet. So there's nothing for this on the main branch as of yet.
Okay. Okay. Any questions for John or anything dealing with WASM while we have them?
John, what would you like people to do if they look at this? Would you like more comments on this issue, or what are we looking for here?
Yeah, so there is a doc with kind of more concrete things that we're thinking of for how users would actually use and bring their own WASM filters to an OSM mesh. So if people have ideas, like if one of those options sounds better than the others, or if there are other use cases that people envision for this, then that sort of feedback would be helpful on that doc or in the issue.
Fantastic.
Okay. Thanks, John. Okay, moving on. I'm excited about this one. Johnson and Sonia, they're going to show off the new OSM health functionality. So
Sonia, are you
Sonia's
ready?
gonna lead it. Is that it?
With
Okay,
your,
take it away, Johnson.
Custer?
Unfortunately, it seems like my setup is not working super well right now, so I'm having some technical difficulties. Johnson, would you be able to take this one?
Sure, I'll share my screen. So basically, what you're seeing here is, I've installed the OSM bookstore demo. Can you guys see my screen? Yeah. So I'm currently running the bookstore demo in my OSM cluster. Get pods, and it's the bookstore, book buyer, book thief. The standard OSM demo that we all know about, and so basically, throughout our development experience and also from feedback from the community, we realized that there's quite a lot of support tooling gaps, and we've decided to come up with a new tool called OSM Health. So it's a new CLI tool that aims to expose common issues in someone's OSM service mesh, right? Let's say ingress issues, SMI policy issues, missing SMI policies, policy misconfiguration, pod-to-pod connectivity issues, Envoy issues. So basically, OSM Health, is a tool that is useful for OSM devs and the community alike, OSM users alike, to debug OSM bugs. So so let's get started. So here, here I have a so basically I want to check whether so let's say right now I want to check whether the book buyer in the OSM app, in the OSM demo app, has connectivity to the bookstore. So if I run it, it's gonna go along. It's gonna go and say, okay, you have no issues because it will perform a series of checks whether you've got the correct annotations, you've got the correct Envoy images, OSM init images, whether the container images are all in order, whether there are any error logs in your logs. Nada, no issues. So it's all good. Now let's say you're performing some testing and you intentionally disabled sidecar injection in a namespace. Okay, you disabled sidecar injection. You're doing something, and then after your testing, you forget to remove this annotation. You forgot to re-enable sidecar injection. Now what's going to happen is this tool will handily print out and say, hey, look, it's not annotated for sidecar injection, or namespace is not monitored by OSM, or you don't have the correct containers, you have a lot, you don't have the other stuff. So basically, in case you accidentally break it, it's going to show you issues as well. I also have another example here. So Sanya was doing something a while ago. She was debugging, and it seems like her bookstore app had a bug. So one of the checks, check 15, checks, it checks events, it checks logs, and checks whether any of the logs or events have anything that is fatal, error, or warning. So just so happened that 10 minutes ago, when Sanya was running running OSM Health in their cluster, it said, hey, look, your bookstore app has events that are not of type normal. Please run this command for more information. So, if you're an OSM user, you'll be like, oh, okay, it sounds odd. Let me see the suggested command. Oh, yeah, indeed, it's got some odd stuff here, and it's unhealthy warning. Okay, it gives you more context. Now you know where to, so, you're guided. Instead of having a black box, you don't understand what's going on. You're guided at least. And we have another example here. Let's say book thief to book warehouse. You're not supposed to communicate. Book thief's not supposed to communicate with book warehouse because of policies. As you can see, it says, hey, it does not have the correct Envoy endpoint. It does not have the correct Envoy. It does not have the Envoy listener. You need to configure, certain SMI policies. That's support for, checking SMI policy validation is and correctness is coming. So, this tool basically is gonna improve a lot of, OSM users' lives, because it'll point out issues. And we encourage you, all of you, to use this. This tool is in github.com/open service mesh OSM Health. We encourage you, all of you, the community, to install it, download it. The instructions are here, and then try it out. In case you run into any OSM issue, try it out. And then, open issues and give feedback. The more feedback you guys give, the better this tool becomes in solving your problems. And, congrats to, I think the whole team's done a great work, especially Sanya, John, and Dalian. All of them have put in great work into this tool. And this tool has matured quite a lot. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. Thank you, Johnson. Any tool that enhances people's lives is a good tool. I like what I'm saying here. I do got some feedback, but I'll post that on the repo. But yeah, this looks great. Okay. And I think that takes us to the end of the agenda list. I'll open it up if anyone has any other comments and or discussions that they would like to make during the call? Okay, if we have any. Again, thank you again, Johnson and Sonia, great demo. Next meeting is going to be September 14th, so roughly a month from now. We'll go ahead and post on Slack, and again, if you have any agenda items, please fill them in, and we'll see everyone in a month's time.
Bye.
Right, thank you for joining, everyone. Have a good day.
Thanks.